Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Picture International with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 7th of November, 2023. So, yeah, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a view the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'll disappear from that little left corner and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so now then, also just before we go further, as always, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us, guys. So, right now then, let's jump probably into the charts because yesterday we didn't have a session and, we will have to pick up today and see what the market has prepared for us. So, guys, look, the first one is Nikkei 225. We're seeing a bit of a retracement here. So yeah, I can see that a few things have skewed a little bit. So from Friday when I picked up on these last time. So yes, let me just adjust a few things. Okay, look, we've tested this territory, right? We stayed above the upper side of this potential range idea. And yes, we climbed above it, but we failed to stay above it, and then we drifted back down. So in a way, what this looks to me like that I need to remove everything and have a fresh look. I think this is a little bit more logical. Potentially, maybe we'll have ourselves something of around this, let me just put this on the chart very quickly. I'm adjusting my colors, my lines. So look, potentially, maybe this is a rising channel because this in a way looks like one. Could be the case, yes, but at the moment, I think that we can consider that. We can kind of stick to this game plan because again the range idea which I've shown initially, it kind of initially worked but then stopped working, and if it stops working then well it's kind of back to the drawing board. So we need to see what else we can do here. So at the moment, let's put it this way, if this is a slightly like rising channel here and we had a fantastic rebound, or not a rebound actually, a rejection here near the upper side of this rising channel, and now we're shifting back to the downside. In a way, what we can do here is maybe from the short-term perspective try to see if we can put a Fibonacci here, and you can see that right now we did test that 23.6% retracement in the Fibonacci. Now the next target, of course, is that 38.2. Let me just grab an arrow here. So this, in a way, could be a nice good target as long as we remain below that 23.6. As you can see, I don't have any specific levels here at the moment. I'm just kind of focusing on this Fibonacci and this rising channel pattern. So, and also my EMAs, because look, I do like my target here. The next target being the 50 and the 100-day EMA, shown as the red and green line respectively. But at the same time, I would need to see this index continuing to trade below this 23.6. If that happens, then yes, my next target is the 38.2. If we somehow reverse back up, well, maybe we're gonna go and retest the upper side of the rising channel here, and then yes, we'll go from there. Maybe we'll see something like this happening. So let's be a little bit more on the careful side for now. But at the same time, it looks quite attractive. Let's have a look at the China index. And as you know, the China data came out this morning. Not very exciting. The whole problem is in the imports, sorry, and the actually imports and exports both, because exports did drop quite significantly, and imports did rise quite significantly. So basically, we're seeing a drop in the trade balance. which in a way for China, it's a big deal because the country mostly exports instead of like, but not really, well, it does import mostly like luxury goods, but it is the biggest one of the biggest exporters in the world, and yes, we saw that the trade balance did kind of was the word narrowed, I would say, maybe like dropped a little bit, so because it started shifting closer to zero, if we can say it this way. So long story short, I would say this is having a bit of an impact on the global economy. I mean, this, of course, is an indication that not everything is progressing as everybody would like to see it. So another thing is it's taking a bit of a hit on oil, or should I say oil is taking a bit of a hit on that. But I'll get to oil in a bit. But at this point, looking at the China 50 index, we can see that we found good resistance near the 50-day EMA here, and at the moment, I would say if you're looking for some higher levels, then certainly a push above the 50-day EMA would be needed. Let me just adjust this chart a little bit. So in terms of the downside, I think at this point, I'm waiting for a drop back below this downside line. And if that happens, then yes, great, more sellers here could join in. We could potentially target some of these lower levels. But at the moment, any move lower is still classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying. But if you're not comfortable with that idea, then yep, you can just wait for a move above the 50-day EMA, and then yeah, we will go from there. ASX 200, so Australia, like, okay, so look, we saw some interesting action in Australia. Why? Because we got the RBA interest rate decision, and it came out as expected. The rate got hiked by 25 basis points, so now we are sitting at 4.35. So yes, and in a way, the market did react in a funny way, I would say, in my opinion. But look, the market does what it wants to do. So we can see that there was a bit of positivity coming into ASX 200. So yes, I mean, initially we saw maybe a bit of a drop here, but then it kind of stabilized and the market is now pushing back up, or at least trying to climb and stay above this downside line drawn from the high of the 15th of September. So in a way, as long as we remain above it, then yes, we could continue targeting the upside. So, but if you're not really comfortable with this downside line, because maybe it's a little bit on the tentative side, who knows, maybe you can keep an eye on this barrier instead, this 7,017 level. I talked about this previously, and as you can see, so far it is providing some good resistance. If that gets cleared, the forthcoming higher high will be confirmed, potentially attracting more buyers into the game. Now look, the rate got hiked. The stock market, ASX 200, is trying to make its way higher. Now I think that what's the positivity here is that sorry, my back is killing me today a little bit. But what's the positivity is that maybe there are ideas that that's it for this year. We're not going to see any more hikes. So the market might take this opportunity to maybe shift back up here, maybe shift back to the upside. So, you know, could potentially be this idea. Yes, it could work out. So even though the rate came out higher, still the market will probably pick up on the idea that maybe actually this is the end of hikes for this year, and then this way we could see some action to the upside. But again, for now, I'm just keeping this idea to myself and yeah, speaking it out loud. But let's see. Let's see. Because for me, the downside scenario at this point. Now, previously I had these levels here, and I still have them. But I think that I would need to look into this. So I'll grab this. I'll remove this arrow. I'm going to start looking at some lower levels if we do drop below the current lowest point of today here on the ASX 200 futures. And if we do drop below that, then yes, I will aim lower. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Yesterday we saw a bit of a decline. The market didn't really like to continue this rally. I mean, of course, this is yes, it is a little bit on the tricky side here. It kind of drifted lower yesterday, but stayed in the positive territory. I'm talking about the main trading hours of the U.S. market. In general, the indices remained slightly in positive territory, but the futures did decline. So, look, what I said to you before, and maybe I'll stick to that game plan as well. And by the way, before I go further, good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's having a wonderful start of Tuesday. Look, the idea that I'm coming back again to is the broken trend line theory, which is kind of a bit of my theory here. So whenever we break a trend line, we kind of tend to revisit it from the other side. Now, why this might be a little bit on the different side is the fact that we are actually above all of the EMAs. So in a way, one of these EMAs could provide good support. We could see maybe a rebound from somewhere around here, and then kind of, reverse and push higher again and end up testing that 34,300 territory, which is the highest point of October. Now, if that gets cleared, certainly, yes, higher levels could be met. But at this point, at the moment, I would say if you're looking for some lower levels in the near term, well, one of the options could be this, to keep an eye on the 50-day EMA. And if we do drop and stay below all these EMAs, then certainly, yes, lower levels could be met. And we could end up traveling to the downside line here for a quick retest of it from the other side. So yes, that's my game plan right now in the near term. I'm keeping a close eye on my EMAs. We're currently above all of them. Today, we don't have much coming out apart from U.S. exports and imports. So yes, keep your eyes on that. Tomorrow we might get a few more pieces. I think Fed Chair Powell is speaking again. Let me just double check very quickly what's happening tomorrow. But I think that, yes, from the U.S., in the U.S. we'll get more action, yes, tomorrow. So we get the speech of Mr. Powell. So it wasn't enough last week. We're gonna get some more of that. But okay, look, it's all good. It's all fine. Whatever helps them to move the market a little bit here. So look, long story short, I would say this way that if you're looking for some higher levels, then there is still a chance to jump into this and jump into some buying action if we continue to trade above all of the EMAs. If we start dropping below all of the EMAs, then yes, I'll consider a bit of a move to the downside here, maybe a larger correction lower. And that's when I will draw my Fibonacci. But actually, you know what? Out of curiosity, where we are at right now. So yes, beautiful. 23.6 is just bang on near the in my 50-day EMA, the last kind of my last EMA here on the chart. So that's the game plan here on the Dow, the S&P 500. Just a very quick look. Look at this! Look at this! I mean, this is actually quite interesting. Why? Because potentially this could be seen as a bullish flag. Look at this. I mean, we are not really seeing that sharp reversal, sharp move to the downside or anything like that. But at the moment we're seeing this kind of a flag-ish maneuver. In that case, if you're looking for some higher levels, I think that the better option here right now is to wait for a push above this 4,391 zone. This way, a forthcoming higher high will be confirmed and potentially could attract more buyers into the game. Now, my downside scenario, of course, is ideally is the drop back below this downside line and the fall below all of my EMAs. That would be the more safe option, I think, because we could see, let's say, if we do start falling below the 100-day EMA, we start shifting, towards this downside line for a quick retest, and then maybe maybe we could see some lower levels. But at this point, let's not rush into things. For now, what I'm seeing here overall is the fact that we're still trading above all of my EMAs. We're forming something of a bullish flag. I'm not saying that for sure this is going to go higher. No, but if it starts getting closer to this 4,391 barrier, I'm going to get a little bit more comfortable with the upside, to be honest. And I'm going to aim for that 4,430, 34 levels. And then we will just take it from there. Jumping into NASDAQ very quickly. So yes, similar story in a way. Everything's working out nicely because I talked about this last week, and I said to you that if we do climb above this 14,792 territory, then I'll aim for my EMAs. And then after that, if we do test this area, this 15,000 mark, and if we clear it and we stay above it, then my next target is this downside line drawn from the high of the 19th of July. So at this point, I would say there is a good chance for seeing a further move north. Let's wait and see. But again, this further move north is still basically part of a larger correction before another possible leg of selling, because we're still below this downside line drawn from the high of the 19th of July, and then we will go from there. The German index, DAX, drifting back down here. We fell back below this 15,200 zone. Look, I need to make a few adjustments here. I think that a refresh is much better, so I'll remove everything again and I'll start fresh. Now, something that I'm going to bring back, of course, some levels I'm going to bring back, and keeping an eye on this right now. So this 15,000 zone, this is what I'm liking right now in order to consider a move lower. So if we do drop below that, then yes, I'll go to the downside. But in terms of the upside, I think the conservative approach here would be to wait for a drop below the 15,338 zone right here, marked by the high of last week. If that gets cleared, we may also clear the 50-day EMA and start traveling to the 200-day EMA and then the 100-day EMA, and then we will keep an eye on this barrier here, this 15,683. Or even slightly higher levels. But at this point, let's not rush into things. Let's keep an eye on this, guys. I mean, because this is looking quite attractive for the bulls. Could potentially look quite attractive for the bulls, but some clearances here are needed. For the downside, for the bears, I mean, the attractive part here could come on a drop below the 15,000, back below the 15,000 mark here on the futures, and then we could, go from there and target the lowest point of October near the 14,666 zone, and then we'll just go from there. The FTSE 100, guys, the FTSE 100. It's a bit of a pain in the bottom, I would say, because look, it's here. It's stuck near my this 7,400 zone. We're still balancing above it. I think a few adjustments have to be made here. I think that, you know what, I'm gonna drop this highlighted zone and just gonna stick to this. This I'm going to get rid of. I will basically try to take a simplistic approach here. As long as we remain above the 7,400 zone, then yes, I will consider another move higher towards my 50-day EMA. And then, then maybe even higher levels, slightly higher levels. This 7,528 zone has to go, no longer needed. This highlighted territory, we can get rid of it. That one as well. What I'm going to aim for initially, as I said, this one right here, the 7,495, or we can round up here a little bit, the 7,500 zone. That gets cleared. Yes, we will start shifting our target, further north. But at this point, yes, I'm watching that 7,400 zone. If we do remain above it, I'll go higher. If we start falling below it, maybe this could open the door towards some lower levels. US dollar, there we go, guys. We drifted lower. We tested one of my EMAs here, the 100-day EMA, so that's perfect. In general, I would like to see this one kind of maybe going all the way towards that 38.2, but hey, I always say to you guys that keep your eyes on the EMAs as well. These could present themselves with nice opportunities, and there we go. So yes, they did provide a good hold up. I think at this point what I need to do here is remove all the drawings and have a fresh look. Now, after we found good support near this hurdle, near this 104.68 zone, and then we rebounded, and we also rebounded from that 100-day EMA. I would say that we traveled higher, and now we're stuck near this zone, near this whole zone right here. It's a bit of a messy territory, I would say. This area is somewhere between the 105.30 and 40 levels, but I think we can simplify our life here is if we do see a push back above the 50-day EMA, this could, yes, attract a few more buyers into the game here and potentially open the door towards some of these levels again, so towards these towards the current highest point of November initially, and then the highest point of October. But again, we'll get to that point if we do see a push and we do see a clearance of that 50-day EMA. For the downside, pretty straightforward for me, is a drop below the 104.68 territory is needed in order to go initially towards the 200-day EMA, and then maybe lower. Now let's jump into gold. Gold is sliding. Yesterday we saw a bit of a decline. So after Friday's reversal, this sharp reversal back down, we fell back below the psychological 2000 zone. And yes, now we are kind of everything's working in line with expectations. So at the moment, it seems like we are traveling towards that 1962 territory. Look, we fell below the 1970 zone, so we're staying below it right now. So there is a good chance to see a test of that 1962 area, and then we'll take it from there. Maybe we'll get a rebound and a push back up, let's say like something like this, or if this, of course, if this gets cleared, if that 23.6 gets cleared, then yes, my next target is the 1953 area, together with the 50-day EMA. That's what I'm going to be aiming for initially, and then we'll go from there. So long story short, for those buyers, I would say be careful, because at the moment, this is my target, this 1962, and then we'll just have to stick around there and see what we can get out of this one. Can we get like a little rebound or something? But if that fails, then yes, it opens the door towards that 23.6. In general, we're seeing a good reversal, a good correction lower. Let's see if that can be maintained, this like a larger correction to the downside before another possible leg of buying. Silver. I don't like silver, period. Because it keeps on oscillating around my EMAs, and this is not really working for me. So you know what? I'm going to take a very, very conservative approach on this one right now. So if I'm looking for some downside, a break of this upside line for me is needed. This one's drawn from the low of the 22nd of June. We already had one break below this one, but I'm going to keep an eye on this for now. If we do get that one more break below this upside line, then yes, I will get comfortable more with the downside. With the upside, I will probably wait until we get a push somewhere above that 23.70, 77 zone, something like that. If that gets clear, then yes, more buyers here could join in. Jumping into oil. So China problems, falling demand, and in a way, the whole even crisis in the Middle East is not really damaging the supply in general. There is enough supply. Just bear with me one moment. There is enough supply in the market. So yes, the price continues to drop, as we can see here. So while we trade below this downside line, yes, we continue to drift lower. My next target is the 77.60 territory right here, marked by the low of the, or is it the lowest point of August? Yep, the lowest point of August. And then we will go from there, guys. So long story short, for now, it's still looking quite bearish. I will start considering maybe slightly higher levels if we do move back above the 81.74 territory, and then we'll just kind of take it from there. Natural gas, there we go, guys. Natural gas drifting back down, and to be honest, this is getting a little bit messy, so let me remove all the drawings and start fresh. I think that's the best option. So for now, we can see that we found resistance near the 3.64 territory. In general, I'm targeting that psychological 4 level. Now, but now we're drifting back to the downside. Look, if you need some lower levels, I think that at the moment you could you could consider some lower levels if we do drop, or we already dropped, but if we do stay below this 3.32 zone somewhere around here, and then my next target is the 50 and the 200-day EMAs. That's what I'm going to be aiming for now. In terms of the upside, I would need to see actually at this point maybe the commodity pushing back above this territory, or actually, you know what? No, let me just adjust this, because if we do push back above this, it would be a little bit tricky. I think I would need to see a push somewhere back above the 3.4 zone. Yep, that's a little bit more reassuring. So if we do climb back above the 3.4 territory, then yes, I will consider a move higher here. But at the moment, I'm leaning towards the downside. Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is, yes, it's stuck. Look, I talked about this last week, and I said to you that we are still trading above the upside line. Okay, in a way, that still is a positive sign, but I would need to see that push above the 35,611 in order to go higher. And if we can get that push, then yes, and we can stay above that, then yes, great. More buyers here could join in. In terms of the downside, I would like to see a drop below the upside line here, and maybe this upside line needs to be drawn this way now, just to reflect these two bottoms. Look, the upside line is very tentative, so that's why I'm keeping that one on the chart, but still with a little bit of skepticism. So, you know, if we do break below it and stay below it, I'll consider a bit of a move lower here towards that 33,386, and then we'll take it from there. Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash is, yes, it's trying to do something. Look, I think the one thing for sure what's needed here is removal of the drawings all and having a fresh look. Now, what I want to bring back to life here is maybe something around this. This upside line here, drawn from the low of the 17th of August, could be something that we need to keep an eye on. Now, in terms of some barriers, some resistance levels and support levels, then maybe a push back above this 249.50 territory might open the door towards some higher levels here. If we suddenly get a break of this upside line, then yes, I will start aiming for the 100-day EMA and then the 200-day EMA. For now, I would say this way, that if you want to squeeze something out of this Bitcoin Cash thing, then in a way, I think that you should remain cautiously bullish. However, it's only while we remain above this upside line. If we start breaking it, yep, that's where I'm going to shift a little bit more towards lower levels. Ethereum. Ethereum is looking quite nice. Look, this idea worked out. Once again, we pushed towards my target, this 1877.88 levels. We cleared that and we stayed above it. So now, in a way, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to aim for those 2000s, and that's going to be my next target. I like that area. So as long as we remain above somewhere above this 1888.77 territory, then yes, I will continue targeting the upside. Now, in terms of the downside, now as much as I kind of would like to, as much as I would like to kind of maybe aim from this territory right here lower, and I will, but I don't want to miss out on this zone. So if we do somehow drop back below this 1877 territory and stay below it, then yes, I will consider a bit of a corrective move lower here. Litecoin. So Litecoin is doing very well. I mean, I talked about this last week, and I said too that if we do pop and stay above the 70.66 zone, my next target is the 200-day EMA. Tick, tick. JD Invest, if time, good morning. Yes, we have gasoline. Oh, gasoline. I like gasoline. Yes, thank you for that. I will have a look at that one. Let me just drop it into my chart. I think, no, that's heating oil, gas oil. There we go. So, yeah, I'll pick up on that one after actually Litecoin very quickly. So look, Litecoin, back to Litecoin. So we reached my target, the 200-day EMA got tested. Now if I want to go higher, I will wait for a push above that 200-day EMA. If I get that, great, more buyers here could join in. We could then aim for that 79.32 level. That's my first target. And if that gets cleared, then yes, of course, this 85.36. So that's my ideal scenario. In terms of the downside, this downside line needs to go, or actually we can reuse it. We can recycle it. Always recycle, guys, and use it as this upside line. So if we're looking for some lower levels, then probably a drop back below the 70.66 territory would be needed, and then we will go from there. We will go a little bit lower, and then we'll, yeah, take it from there, guys. Gasoline, gas oil here on our charts. Okay. Just bear with me one moment. Let me just double check something. Oh, excuse me, guys. Really sorry for that. So I'm just trying to double check something very quickly. If I have the correct chart. Okay. Gasoline. Oh, wait. This is the Look, I think that we have a slightly different chart. So JD Invest, I mean, look, I think we have it as gas oil. So there are different pricings, but like on our platform we have gas oil. So let me have a look at that one, because again, I think there we will jump into different things here. I just wanted to clarify, just to quickly check something like that. So yes, but that's gas oil. Gasoline. Just bear with me. You did give me an interesting thing here to think about. So let me just bear with me one moment. So let me just double check something. Commodities. Charts. Okay. Okay, something is wrong with my other charts. Okay, right. Okay, look, I'll do the gas oil here. I mean, because there is a variation on the pricing. So, um, just trying to cross-reference it here very quickly. Yeah, I think that this is slightly different. But look, yeah, because gasoline price is a little bit different. Let me just try to find it this way, maybe. I see. Okay. No, we cannot do these guys. No, we cannot. Okay, look, on somehow on the gasoline futures, like, right. Okay, let's have a look at this. I think this is a little bit better. There we go. So the RBOB. Yeah, that's the one. So, but actually, you know what? With our gas USD gas oil chart, it's very close. So there we go. I finally managed to get to the what I was looking for. So gasoline futures here, guys. It's actually quite similar to. Let me just add this very quickly. So that's RB. Yep, so let me just add it for myself here for the future. But what I wanted to say is that this is quite close, to be honest. So if you cannot find gasoline, you can actually trade gas USD here on our charts. So yeah, I think that would be close enough. Look, for me, straight away, this looks quite bearish. We're forming something like a triangle pattern, and I mean, even this doesn't help me, to be honest. I mean, I think we're forming, yes, just straightforward triangle pattern. We do have a downside line which we could be considering here, but mainly I think it's this little thing that I'm worried about. And in general, yes, we are taking a pause, but the prevailing trend was to the downside. So we are kind of, let's say I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards lower levels just because from the technical perspective, because again, whenever we start forming a formation like a triangle pattern or like a range or something, we look at the prevailing trend. The prevailing trend was to the downside, so the likelihood for this one to break lower is quite high. Given that we are not far from a very important area of support near the 2.02 level. So if you're a little bit more on the cautious side, what you can do here is just keep an eye on this lowest point of October, roughly near the 2.15 level. If that gets cleared, then yes, more sellers here could join in. So for now, I would say if you're looking for some higher levels on gasoline, ideally for me is this one, the 2.38 zone, approximately around here. But I get it, you are looking maybe for something a little bit earlier, then maybe we could start looking at some higher levels on a break of this this downside line drawn from the high of the 11th of August, and then yeah, we could take it from there. Don't get me wrong, the line is very tentative, so it might not carry much significance. Okay, guys, let me jump into a few pairs. So I don't know, JD Invest, I don't know if that answers, if that helps, but look, it's a little bit messy chart, but I'm kind of cautiously leaning towards the downside on that one. AUDUSD, there we go, looking at a beautiful reversal, a sharp reversal back down. Now, some of you might say, but why? If the rates got hiked, we should have seen a move higher. And this is the point where I actually mentioned already earlier that in a way, I think the market is seeing that for this year, there won't be any more hikes. So we're seeing a weaker AUD here against the US dollar. And yes, even though US dollar is not the strongest one right now, AUD is even weaker, so we're seeing that drift lower after we've reached my target. My target was here, the 0.6522. I talked about this last week, if you remember, on Friday as well, and last week in general, midweek, and we reached my target. Now I will keep an eye on this barrier. There's potential opening door for the upside. So once we get a clearance of the 0.6522, I'll go higher. For the downside, look, this upside line needs to go here. It's a little bit in the way. For the downside, a drop below the 0.6393 territory is required in order to go lower. But if we do get a clearance of this upside line, then yes, I mean, everything could align nicely here, and we could see that push lower here. So let's, for now, at this point, I'm just observing the price action, and to be honest, I'm going to leave it as it is. I'll allow it to walk a little bit here until I see a clearance of one of my levels here again. AUDNZD, we're having a beautiful move lower. So in general, the 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci got reached. So now my next question, can we drop below that 23.6 and can we end up going towards that 38.2? But the problem here is that we are, before potentially hitting that 38.2, we have the EMAs. So I'm going to initially aim for my EMAs, and then we will take it from there. For the upside, I would like to see, let's say, a rebound from that 23.6. And I know that we're still trading here, so I will wait probably with my upside. If today, for example, if I see this pair staying alive here and staying alive. Yeah, it reminded me of the song. But yes, if we do stay alive here above this 23.6, then yes, I will consider maybe a bit of a reversal here back to the upside. NZDUSD, beautiful move back down here, a test of the 50-day EMA, great. What's next? First of all, I'm curious if there is any sense with the Fibonacci's here. Yes, actually, 38.2, beautiful test of that area together with the 50-day EMA. Now, like I said, the question is, can we go further south? Well, to be honest, I think that at the moment, I'm just going to leave it. And if we do drop below the 38.2, then yes, I'll aim for my 50% retracement on the Fibonacci. And then we will just kind of take it from there. If we do climb back above the 23.6, which is roughly, on my chart, roughly around the 0.5948 zone, if we do climb back above it, then yes, I will consider a move back to the upside. NZDJPY, after a beautiful test of my highlighted zone right here, this key resistance barrier, I talked about it before, and JD Invest, you're welcome. Look, for now, I'm seeing a bit of a retracement, which is fine. And again, the same story. Let's see if the Fibonacci's work here. Beautiful, 23.6. Yeah. Now, question is, can we get a rebound, or can we actually clear it and move further? Oh, nope, I didn't mean to do this way. I meant to drag my arrow. So if we do drop and stay below the 23.6, then my next target is the 38.2, roughly near the 0.8, near the 88.60 territory. And if that gets cleared, then I'm aiming for that 50% retracement on the Fibonacci. USDJPY, beautiful move back up. So this is, of course, at the same time, it's a mess. I don't like. I'm starting to dislike it, but at the same time, I cannot get my eyes away from it because we are at a very interesting spot. Look, I mean, I said to you last week that if we do climb back above this 150.78 zone, then yes, I will go to the upside again, or at least get a little bit more comfortable with examining higher levels. For the downside, I need to see a drop now. I'll take a very conservative approach, and I need to see a drop below the 148.80 zone right here, which is the lowest point of is that October? No, that's not not the lowest point of October. That's the low of the 30th of October, which also coincides nicely with my 50-day EMA. So that's my downside scenario here. Not from anywhere from here, but just maybe later on I might consider this little hurdle, this 149.19, depending if, let's say, the 50-day EMA starts approaching it. Maybe from here I will start looking at some lower levels. But for now, I'm examining the upside scenario, and we are approaching that 150.78 zone. If we clear it, then yes, I'll go higher. USDCAD, in terms of economic data from Canada, we do get also the trade balance, so imports, exports, that's today, together with the US. So at the same time, so keep your eyes on that. It will be quite interesting because, look, Canada is a very export-driven country, so it needs to export oil, one of the top producers of oil. So at the moment, we're seeing, yes, oil drifting lower, and that's where we're seeing Canadian dollar weakening, because we don't have anything else that could be like, let's say, affecting the Canadian dollar that much. We don't have any other data. It's mainly now exports and oil, which are going to be, I think, in the spotlight. So yes, for Canada and for other countries as well. But at this point, look, we found a good resistance so far of this upside line. And look, again, this idea is working out, because what I talked about previously, I said that, again, this idea of breaking the, or revisiting the, or retesting the trend line from a broken trend line from the other side. So, yep, we are seeing now a test of this this upside line from the other side. So my question is, can it act as a good area of resistance? If it can, great. I will aim for the downside again. For the upside, I need to see a push above the 1.3813 level, and then I'll take it from there. USDCHF, after a beautiful move lower, look, I've reached my target. I had this Fibonacci kind of drawn this way, so we kind of drifted back down. We tested my EMA here, the 100, the last one on my chart, before kind of, let's say, opening the door towards lower levels. So at this point, I think that the best option here, if you're looking for some lower levels, is to wait for a drop below that 100-day EMA. Let me get rid of the Fibonacci, no longer need it. Yep. Now the focus is going to be on resistance, support barriers, and some trend lines. So, for example, for the upside, a break of this downside line for me is required in order to go higher. For the downside, a drop below the 100-day EMA for me is needed in order to go lower and aim for this little territory right here, this area near the 0.89 zone, and then we'll go from there. Maybe we'll go a little bit lower, who knows, but for now, this is going to be my game plan. But I need to see a drop below the 100-day EMA in order to go to the downside. Also, keep your eyes on today's news. I think actually maybe it came out already. Let me just double check something here. Is it today or is it tomorrow? Let me, some Swiss news. Oh, no, wrong button. Yeah, we already got the unemployment rate, seasonally adjusted and non-seasonally adjusted. So unemployment rates kind of remained at the same level as expected as the previous. So the non-seasonally adjusted is 2% and the seasonally adjusted is 2.1. So that's in Switzerland. So not much activity, to be honest. Yeah, not much excitement. So I think that on this pair, the focus will be still on the US dollar. So let's see how that one is going to play out. Jumping into the pound, GBPJPY. So after we cleared my barrier, I talked about this. So yes, on Friday, we popped nicely above this upper side of the range. So I've mentioned this before, and yes, we stayed above it. So now my question is, can we go and test the 186.77 territory? Well, that could be a nice, good target as long as we remain above the upper side of this broken this broken range here. Yes, if we do continue to aim higher, then like I said, my next target is the highest point of August, as long as we remain above the upper side of this broken range. If we start falling back inside of it, I will consider a move lower within that range. GBPUSD, beautiful correction back down, so all is good so far. My question now is, can we see a further decline? To be honest, I'm currently sticking to that. In general, look, the idea worked out nicely because on Friday I said to you that if we do clear this triangle pattern, oh, and this is, by the way, a good example of when you need to wait for a breakout, because look, the breakout happened to the upside. We were in somewhat of a triangle pattern, and the prevailing trend was to the downside. So logically speaking, it should have broken lower, but it broke to the upside. So this is one of those moments where I say to you guys, wait for the breakout. Yes, theory is one thing, but wait and see what's going to happen in practice. And in this case, we broke higher and we traveled to my EMAs. Look at this, 100-day EMA got tested, the 200-day got tested. Perfect. In general, the target here was this 1.2425. Tick, fantastic. Now we can, by the way, the target got reached yesterday, and now we're drifting back down. We're moving back south. To be honest, if we struggle to remain above the 50-day EMA, then I'm going to consider a move towards a retest of that broken trend line, that broken downside line from the other side. I'm going to consider a retest of that broken trend line. So that's why my first initial thought is to keep an eye on the 50-day EMA together with the 1.2288 zone, and if that gets clear, then yes, I'll go lower a little bit. But if we rebound, a beautiful bullish flag could be formed. EURCAD. So I'm picking up on this one because I'm starting to really like it. It's a little bit annoying, but at the same time, it's actually quite nice, because look, we reversed back up again after we found some good support last week near this 1.4587 territory, and I think that it's quite logical to actually pick up on that area in order to go lower. So if we do drop below that zone, then yes, I will get more comfortable with the downside. But at the moment, the downside scenario is slightly off the table because we're flirting with that 1.4695 territory again. If we do stay above it, then yes, I will go further north, potentially targeting my, well, actually, initially I have to target the highest point of October near the 1.4747. But if that gets clear, the forthcoming higher high will be confirmed, and we could go towards that 1.4825 territory as I would like it to see. And EURUSD, so we're getting a nice little retracement here. So in general, the idea worked out nicely here as well. On Friday, I said to you that if we do pop and stay above the 50-day EMA, my next target is the 1.0695 territory right here, tick. And then we cleared it, and this, as you can see, I had this highlighted zone, which got kind of in a way almost tested, but I'll take that. Honestly, this is a good result. But I didn't actually expect it to move higher like straight away like that, but hey, that's fine. I'll take that. Now my question is, can we remain above this hurdle, above this 1.0695? If we can, then great. I will go higher. But at this point, I would say if you're looking for some higher levels, then probably an option here is to wait for push above the current highest point of November near the 1.0756 and then slowly aim to the upside. If you're looking for some lower levels, then I would say for me at this point, let me just clear up this. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna leave this hurdle here for now. I like it. I actually like this level as well. Honestly, I really like all of them. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep this on the chart for now. But if I think these have to go, these are a little bit in the way. So let's simplify life. If we do fall back below the 50-day EMA, then yes, I'll target the 1.0560 initially, and then the 1.0523, and then we will take it from there. So in a way, if you're considering, let's say, what about the short-term move here? Yes, if you feel comfortable, you can examine the opportunity here maybe to consider a move lower towards that 50-day EMA. But again, at the moment, we're seeing a good hold up near this 1.0695. If we do drop and stay below it, then yes, I'll consider a move maybe towards this 50-day EMA. Right here, let me just put this on the chart here a little bit. So yeah, look, if you're not really feeling comfortable here with this one, I would say, I'm with you, because I kind of see this as a possible bullish flag, but is that the case? Let's wait and see, I would say. So that's why for now, long story short, if you're looking for some higher levels, then this is the option to wait for a break off. And I think that I'm being very ambitious with my upside scenario here. I need to lower it down somewhere. Maybe this 1.0850 zone would be nice initially. But with my downside scenario, my ideal preference, or my not ideal preference, my ideal scenario is actually a drop below the 50-day EMA and then consider a move lower. All this area, I will allow it to kind of maneuver a little bit. Maybe it's going to drop and go towards this 50-day EMA. Maybe it's going to find support near these little hurdles. So that's why I don't really like this whole area right here, and that's why I'm just observing the price action. Look, guys, that's it. That's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, guys, your views, your rocket ships in there, your comments, everything. I really appreciate that. So I hope you're going to stay safe. Look, as always, yes, stay safe. Have your stop losses in place. Risk only what you can afford to lose. Don't overtrade and everything will be fine. So I'll see you tomorrow, 7 o'clock GMT time, right here in TradingView. And yeah, we'll pick up on some of these other instruments, some new ones, and we'll take it from there. So thank you very much. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Uh-oh, you just broke a digital image cursing us all to 7 years of market volatility. Undo by subscribing to our channel.